Well, there we are. We are in Salt Lake City with the N Scale convention, and I'm here with Shane Wilson from ScaleTrains.com, and they have announced a couple new items for your viewing pleasure and running pleasure on your layouts. One of them is a loco, and the other one is a covered something or other. So, Shane, what do you have with me? What do you have for us today?
Well, Bob, first of all, thanks so much for what you do and getting the information out about our models. We appreciate your viewers and all the time that you do to create the videos. We're announcing 3 different products here, 2 all-new models and then something very unique. The first all-new model is an N Scale C39-8 locomotive, never been done before in plastic or brass. And of course, in keeping with their traditions, and I'm sure you'll do some close-ups for your viewers, doing multiple different variations. We're doing a Phase 2 version and a Phase 3 version, C39. And the way you can tell the difference is if you look back on the radiator grills, the Phase 2 variants essentially got what looks like 2 grills, and they stand proud off the locomotive side. A Phase 3 is going to have an additional grill at the very end of the long hood, and then the grills are actually flush mounted against the locomotive. There's also a large plow on the Phase 2, small plow on the Phase 3, and then the NS has got Phase 2, 3 variants. Conrail's all Phase 3. They were the only 2 that purchased those directly from GE. There are some secondhand owners like CSX, Pennsylvania Northeastern, Savage, and some private owner companies. In the first run, we're doing PN. PN was awesome. They worked with us in the creation of this locomotive. A lot of detail variance between Conrail and NS. Little things like on the NS, you'll notice things like drop step. You got the MU receptacles. The NS has the 3 dynamic intake grills, whereas the Conrail is going to have the 2 vent grills. So that's like a standard on the Conrail, an extended range on the NS. And then Pennsylvania Northeastern is neat because it's got ditch lights on the first run, and they alternate when you blow the horn from left to right. And then, of course, on the second run, we'll do NS and Conrail with ditch lights.
And that's going to be using the same decoder as the Tier 4, the ESU?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're using the Next 18 decoder for DCC and sound. Okay. Or if you want DCC, you can snap in a Next 18 decoder. This is the Phase 2 variant. You'll notice that essentially it's 2 radiator screens, and the radiator screens stand proud off of the end of the locomotive as I show you the end. The Phase 3 variant is back here. There's 1 extra grill at the very end of the long hood, and then as I move it towards the camera, you'll notice those grills are flush mounted to the end. Then the other big variant detail we talked about, these have the short plows. It is a nice facility. They don't have the money. And these have the tall plows. No, they don't. They don't have the funny plows. Conrail wanted the standard dynamic, which is a 2 vent hole. Okay. NS wanted a 3 vent, so this is an extended range dynamic brake. A lot of subtle differences between the Conrail and the NS, something I missed in the original video. Conrail modified theirs with an inverted L-grab iron on the nose. Okay. And then on the rear end, Conrail also had a tall stanchion on the engineer's side. You'll also notice on the front, Conrail's got an anti-climber versus the NS, which has a drop step. So each one is road numbered.
Is that a lower drop step?
Yeah. You can actually move it. It's a movable drop step.
Nice. Movable parts besides wheels. Mm-hmm. Ditch light version.
Yeah, here's the ditch light version on the Pennsylvania Northeastern. You can tell this is an ex-Conrail because of the inverted L grabs.
Is it roughly about the same body as the Tier 4? Because it's a little bit smaller, it looks like, than the Tier 4 is.
A little smaller, totally different body than the Tier 4. Okay. I mean, they share no resemblance whatsoever. Yeah. The C39, what makes it unique from the Dash 7 series is if you look at the profile of like the radiator, it's totally different. Mm-hmm. One of the big spotting features is they sometimes call them humpbacks because right behind the cab, in the clean air area, there's a giant hump in the locomotive, and had a very kind of angular nose on the locomotive as well.
Okay, so easy to identify.
Very easy to identify.
Okay. So what is the next product we have here?
So the next thing we announced was the N Scale 4785 covered hopper. We're doing 2 different variations in the 4785. What I'll essentially call early production. Mm-hmm. Early production, on the break-in side, you had tall end supports, so the end support basically ran from the sill to the top of the car. The later variations, which what Penn Central had, they're going to have a short totally lost my whole train of thought. From it only goes part way up, and then they've got shear plates on the end, so it makes it a visually different than the early car. Two different types of outlet gates: gravity pneumatic. You've got two different types of hatches on the roof. You got the standard ribbed trough hatch, and then you've also got on Cotton Belt was really unique. It has three separate hatches, and they all are smooth. Doing a few other little variations. If you look at the early versions, they have the wide rung side ladders, whereas the later ones have the narrow side ladders. Right. So very unique. The grain cars, they also have the placards, the etched metal placards that are printed on the cars. Okay. So, and those will be here probably in the fall of this year. So this is the early production car starting from the late 1960s. It's identified by the tall end support that runs from the sill to the top of the roof walk. Here's a late production model. You'll notice the end supports are short. Actually, I remembered that time. And the brake wheel is on a short end support. It also has shear plates on the end. That's that tall plate there. And then on the sides, this has narrow rung ladders. And the early versions have the wide rung ladders. Two different styles of outlet gates. This is the gravity type gate. Penn Central's got the has a gravity pneumatic outlet gate. Oh, okay. And then two different types of hatches. This is something's happened to that car. It's gotten tweaked. This has a ribbed trough hatch, and then the Cotton Belt. The Cotton Belt has a smooth trough hatch and has three different hatches on it. That was very unique to Cotton Belt. Okay. And then we had one more announcement here at the show. It's pretty unique. For the course number 26 turbine is at Ogden. I know you had a chance to see that on this trip. And we went and hung a giant magnet that has a convention logo on it on the locomotive, took a bunch of photos, and we're producing 126 of that locomotive. It's going to be very special. It comes in a unique box, has a commemorative pin inside, like a hat pin like you've got on your hat. It also, what's really cool about it is we're going to give back from this. We've committed to giving $5,000 to the Ogden Museum to help with the preservation of 26, and we're giving back $5,000 to the N Scale Enthusiast Society, who puts on the N Scale convention. One of the cool things, every box is going to have a signed Gil Bennett print inside. So it's a little cardstock that you could actually frame and hang in your railroad room. And then one person's going to have a golden ticket inside, and the golden ticket's going to give away the painting that we have here. It's actually a giclée, so it's got the brush strokes to it, and it'll be signed by Gil Bennett as well. Okay, so the picture inside the box is basically this painting, but not the real painting, just the reproduction. Reproduction painting. Okay. Would love to be an original, but no, you can't do 126 of them. Yeah, there was something like, your other big blows. Are you coming out with another run of those? Yeah, so the second production run of big blows has started. Those, along with the early water tenders and the late water tenders, we'll be seeing production, and those should be arriving in September. Okay. Then we also have some other products here that are already been announced, like the 5188. So those have been there. Something for your viewers, we just last week increased our purchase order quantity on the 5188s. So several of the ones that were sold out previously, we can take more pre-orders on. Okay. The quantity is locked in at the factory. We had to really twist their arms to allow us to order more. Right. And right after we placed that PO, production commenced. So still some opportunity to be able to get Gunderson 5188s to go along with other companies' Trini 5161s. On the website, when I was looking at these the other day, the blank one was already sold out. So it was why is the blank one sold out? You don't have to paint the new ones. You're talking about the ones without road number? Yeah. Sales on the non-road numbers are really low. We've got maybe on the KCS 24 pieces sold, and on the BNSF maybe 36 or 48. On the HO version, we had pre-orders of like 100, and we had cancellations of 60. Wow. So we ended up having 60 extras on the shelf for the no numbers, and we played them pretty tight in the N Scale, and we're playing them pretty tight on the second run of the HOs as well. Okay. I guess not a lot of people out there painting their own stuff anymore, or as much, and they kind of like what you guys already did from the factory. They don't need to paint it. Yeah. They like what they got. We get a lot of requests to do no number, but the sales just aren't there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Shane, that's a pretty good display of things here on the show, and thanks for coming to the N Scale convention.
All right, Bob. Hey, thanks for your coverage. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Bye. Well, there you go. That's been this announcement for scaletrains.com. Check out their website. See ya. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Check out these videos over here. Also, click on the links down below to follow me on social media. And leave a comment. Tell me what you liked. And as always, ManCavians, happy model railroading, and stay off those tracks. Bye.